All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Hi. Hello. I already see there's some comments. Ah, Jessica's here. Jen's here. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Everybody feeling good tonight? It is Sunday, so I've done a lot of prep today for the week. I was telling everybody on TikTok when I was live just a minute ago, I actually completely forgot to put a really big event this week in my calendar. I had it everywhere else, but it wasn't in like the big master calendar. I use a bunch of different calendars, guys, but everything goes in my happy planner, and I didn't put it in my happy planner. So unfortunately, today when I was planning out writing for the week, I completely forgot to account for that. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a lot of work done tonight, because if I cannot finish putting in my edits tonight or tomorrow, then I'm going to have a really, really difficult time getting any of it done the rest of the week. So I am hoping that tonight's going to be really successful. I did a lot of planning just for tonight's live stream. So I think it's going to be good. Hopefully, you guys get a lot done also. So that's the story. So, what is everybody working on? I am still working on Shade of the Shadowlands. Last week in our live stream, I got all of my edits done, the grammar and structure stuff. Tonight, I am working on adding the scenes. So, I talked about how I wanted to add a couple scenes after I went through all of those edits, and then I went back through the draft again, where I found some of those plot things and I took a lot into consideration. And I think I've decided I'm going to only write in one new scene. I did have an idea to write in at least 2 or 3, but I think I'm just going to do the one. I've already marked in the draft over here. I've got a little sticky where I'm going to insert this scene. I know exactly where it goes, and I do think it's going to add a lot to the plot. It's going to add a lot of tension for the subplot, and in turn is going to make the overall plot a little bit more mysterious, I think. So we're going to do that. So tonight I'm writing that scene. And if I can write a lot of it, because it will, I think, end up being like a whole chapter. If I can get all of it done, I will start editing it into the main draft where it goes. And we'll go from there. I did reach out to my editor today. I'm just waiting to hear back from her. So as soon as I find out if she has time in my schedule for me, I'm hoping in February, then I should be good to go to send it to beta readers. I already have an application on my link tree. So on all my social media, if you click that bio link, there's an application there. So you can sign up to be a beta reader if you would like to be one of the first people to read Shade of the Shadowlands, especially if you want to read an early draft. That's always so cool to me. You can apply there. It is open. And then after that, it's just going to my editor. So I am about there. I'm really excited. So, Jess is good. How are you? I am great, Jess. I'm going to feed my animals before fully committing to my editing. I guess that's a good point. Before I hopped on TikTok to go live, I finished filming this week's update for the whole TikTok challenge. So I've been talking a little bit in the vlogs about it, but if you don't watch my vlogs, I am trying to increase my followers and the engagement on my TikTok account. So I have pulled a bunch of tricks and tips from different places. I've been trying to pull them from book related TikTok people, if that makes sense, and those kinds of inspirations. And every week I've been posting, or I've been giving an update and recording it on the things I've learned and how I'm going to change my strategy, what worked, what didn't work. It's really interesting. I cannot wait for this video to come out because it has been eye-opening. So I do actually, speaking of things you have to do before fully committing, I do want to upload those into that video before I actually dive into the scene. So I also need to do that. I haven't done any editing since last Sunday. That's okay. It's taken me a couple months, but I get to write pretty consistently now. I write a couple evenings a week, and then I'm always writing as much as I can on the weekends. But until then, I only wrote on the weekends because it was the only for sure time I had in my schedule. Things were so wild. So, whatever works for you. If you can only write on Sundays, that's fine. Um, hey, words on a page or words on a page. Jen says, going to be working on the third draft of a second story. I cannot wait to read a second story. Oh my gosh. All of your TikToks this week, all of the the vibes TikToks have been giving me the feels, Jen. I cannot wait for that book. So that is, speaking of can't wait for books to read, what are you guys reading? So Jen, I was just talking about you on TikTok. Speaking of, I just started reading Percy Jackson. I am reading The Lightning Thief, and I just got to chapter 5. I don't know how I missed this book. I was a big reader growing up. And I don't know how I never read anything from the Percy Jackson series. Of course, I heard things about it and I knew it was a really big book and everyone was loving it and a lot of my friends were reading it, but I don't know why I just didn't ever get around to picking it up. So I missed this one, but I am now reading it as an adult and I'm super excited. I know I probably should go. What I should do is I should go find, I don't know his name, but there's this guy who does a podcast and he read Percy Jackson for the first time and podcasted it. I should go follow those podcast episodes as I read through it. That would be super, super fun because I hear that he did a really good job of it. It was like a big thing. Oh my gosh, I'm squealing. Thank you. Of course. Percy, my boy. I love him so far. They kind of hammer it home in chapter 1. After chapter 1, you don't really hear much about that, but he's kind of hammering it home about he's this juvenile delinquent. And I'm at me being a school counselor, having worked in education at a pretty low income school, he does not seem like a juvenile delinquent at all. So I will say that when I found that out in chapter 1, I was like, yeah, I knew that he was a troubled kid and that's why all these things happened. But even considering the circumstances, I don't know that this kid is juvenile delinquent the way that I encounter them, but it's been really fun. It is a kind of like a middle grade YA. So I guess that is going to lean more on the subtle side than what I deal with day to day, but I am loving it so far. He's still going through the books. He's on the 4th. Is he really? And it's Mike Schubert. Okay, yeah. My friends have been watching and listening to his podcast and following it along. They love Percy Jackson. They read it a long time ago, have reread it, and they say it's amazing. So I'm gonna have to look him up. Oh my gosh, especially if he's still going through it, because at this rate, I'm gonna devour this. It's taking all of my self-control not to just dive into this for the stream instead of writing my scene. But I know that I need to do the scene because this is going to be the only super, super real writing time that I have. Okay. Dog, cat, guinea pigs are fed. Now to work. You have a guinea pig? Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Love them. Oh, they're so sweet. Okay. Well, maybe it might be Schubert. I think it's something like that. He's definitely given the newest Olympian a listen. Ooh, I'm going to have to do that. I would love that. So I'm thinking that now is going to be a good time to jump into our first sprint. We will do 20 minutes as always. So we're going to hop on to that. We talked about books a little bit. It sounds like we all have a whole lot to do. We'll do 3 sprints, but I would love if I could stay up a little later and maybe get a 4th in if I need to, because I really, really want to write this whole scene. So let's go ahead and do our first 20-minute sprint. And this time around, I am remembering to come over here to share screen because I did not the last time. And you guys had to tell me what I was doing wrong. All right. So I have our 20 minutes up here. Whoopsie. That's the one I wanted. So we'll come over here, 20 minutes on the screen and sprint. Perfect. I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay. How did we do? Guys, how'd everybody do? So I got all of the videos in for the TikTok video, and I started writing on this scene. You know what? Actually, how far did I get with the scene? Um, I'm not sure. I'm about a page into the scene, I guess, if that's anything. I think that's pretty good. It's coming quick. I've already had a lot of time to plan out the scene, even some of the like dialogue and everything that would go into it. So I think the scene will go really come together really quick. I think I'll be able to write it all tonight. I'm just kind of hoping that it'll come together quick enough that I'll be able to edit it into the draft. Jen says about 600 words down. That's great. And you're editing, aren't well, no, you're on to draft 3, so kind of editing. I guess that's just a stage of editing. So, yeah, you're getting really far. If you are that far, if you have that many drafts in, you're really close to, or I guess it depends on how you feel about the final product, but I would think you'd be pretty close to the publication stage. Um, that's super exciting. It's much faster taking the handwritten ones down. Yes, I agree. That is how I went through, and I was able to do my edits in a pretty short amount of time. So now I'm going to insert the scene, and I'll probably comb through it a little bit more. So really, I'll have a couple drafts before I send it off, but I don't plan on going through and rereading much after this last stage. I have 24,700 words into this draft. Ooh, that's a pretty good amount because you just started draft 3 not very long ago. Yes, I'm planning on sending this draft to an editor, then getting the draft ready to publish. That is awesome. Oh my gosh. How exciting. That's when things feel like big to me. Every step of that publishing process is exciting. So I'm almost at the point again where like I start to feel a little bit like I'm in a marathon and it gets exciting the more miles you cover, that kind of um, adrenaline rush. So I'm looking forward to it. I've gotten to where I actually enjoy the publication process side and the editing more than I used to. I would say I like it just as much as the writing side, more than I thought I would. Once I finish like the end of a book writing it, I am ready to move on to editing, and that's not normally the case. So, um it's fun. I cannot wait. Cannot wait to send this off to my editor and share it with her. I'm hoping she responds back pretty quick to me this week so that I can start scheduling her out. I'm a little worried that I tried to book her out too late to get her in February, but we'll see. And she always works quick. She gives me a date and she's almost always days before it. So, really like working with her. I'm going to use the I would like to, let's say, I would like to use the same editor for this as I did for Guardians of the Sixth Gate, which is the first book. And I plan to use the same cover designer. We already had talked about what the rest of this series would look like in covers. So I think that she could do it relatively quick. I think that the design elements are already in play. So um, super exciting. And she does a fabulous job. I get so many comments on the cover of that book. And also, she also did the arena. And I get a lot of comments on the cover of that one. I think the color grading is beautiful. She did a great job doing like all of those colors and still having like that oranginess of like a desert scene in the background. Oh my gosh. She's amazing. I really hope I can continue working with her for a long time in the future. I'm super happy with her. Fingers crossed. Yes, fingers and toes crossed. um, I think I've got enough. I always budget a little bit extra room in my publishing schedule. I always give myself about 6 months to do the whole process. I think after I've done it now twice, I feel pretty comfortable in like the practices I have in place. I think I could do it in a shorter amount and still get some of the same punch I think I'd actually get some more benefits if I could do it shorter because I'm finding that, especially now that I'm in a series, if I could get the sequels out quicker, I think that would benefit me a lot more. But we'll see. I think with my day job and everything kind of ebbs and flows, we go into different seasons in school counseling where I'm really busy with schedules and then not as busy. I can't guarantee my time, so I always give myself like a whole extra month before the promotional stuff. So I always have a lot of extra time in there. So if I can't get my editor for February and I have to get her like closer to the end of February, I think I could do it. I think it'd be okay. Um, and I'm willing to do that because I love working with her, both of them. All right. We have been in the stream about 40 minutes. Holy moly, we've only done the first sprint. It is about 9 o'clock where I am anyway. So 6 months is so quick already. 6 months is kind of quick. When I was researching how fast a lot of indie authors did it, that was actually the long side that I found. A lot of indie authors, especially romance authors, not so much, especially not fantasy, kind of in my wheelhouse. Romance authors are like one a month. They're going quick. Um, and there's a lot of different strategies to publishing in the indie world. There are a lot of people that like to rapid release, and there are a lot of benefits of rapid release in different genres, like romance is a big one. I do not think I could do it in fantasy though, especially with my day job. 6 months is about as much as I can get. And the only reason I can do 6 months is because there are certain times in my schedule that I'm very protective of. Um, like I still work through the summer in the school setting. We have to get everything done. We're not necessarily paid for all of that time, but I do have to work June and July in order to prep some things. But I'm very protective over how many hours I work, and I schedule out the rest of the day. It is jam packed with writing stuff. So I kind of do have writing as a full-time job through the summer months. I think that's the only way I do it. If I didn't have that, I couldn't prep everything enough out to be able to do 6 months. So, yes, same. It is a kind of a short amount of time. So I totally get it. It's pretty quick. And usually I spend years on my full fantasy stuff. Fantasy's hard though. There's so much that goes into it. So it does take a long time. There's a fantasy series that I have kind of on the shelf. It's already been written and edited. Um, and I want to make some tweaks to it because it's been long enough that certain things in like industry standards have changed and there are some different character things I'd like to do. So I want to come back and rewrite quite a bit of it. And that is more like a heavy traditional fantasy. And I think just the first book would take me the whole year to do because it's so involved. So fantasy is so different. I don't know how indie authors do it for real. Even the fantasy indie authors are like cranking stuff out compared to like traditional publishing. And I know in traditional publishing there's more steps in there, so it does just take that long out. Like a lot of people have a book in the works for 2 years before it gets there, but man, it is a ton of time. I don't know how people do that um that quickly, like a month at a time. Mm-mm. Nope, I can't rattle them off that fast. I would burn out if I did anything less than 5 months, I think. Because I do budget that extra time, so I think I could push it out in 5 months, but that would really be me working all the way up to release. And I do that, but I have to adjust that time for like a part-time schedule. So I could not do anything less than that. Holy moly. And even that, a lot of the books that I'm working on now have been written or mulled over for quite a bit of time before, so they're not as messy to edit. I think if it was a brand new project, I would definitely need the 6 months or more. Maybe it's because trad publishing is so long of a process. I really do think it has more to do with the business side and the system there than it does the author side. Indie authors are superhuman, for real. It is a whole business. I don't know how they do that. Gosh. And I've talked with some of them too. I've had long conversations and they're not all full time and they're still rapid releasing like that. I don't know. Do not get it. Totally burnout. Yes. Me too. Oh my gosh. Ooh, here's something that we haven't talked about before we go into the next stream. What are you guys listening to right now? So, when I write my books, especially these fantasy books that are more ingrained, that are like more urban fantasy set in our world, I well, I guess even with my real fantasy, like true fantasy, I always create a kind of an ambiance writing playlist as I write it, and I just add as I go. So at the end of writing the writing process, I have a whole playlist on my YouTube channel. And then once I finish publishing it, I make it public. So I do have a playlist for Shade of the Shadowlands, and I pulled that up to write in this scene so I can kind of keep the vibes going. It helps me keep a lot of the same like emotions that are attached to the scenes, the various scenes in the scope of that album. It kind of helps me to have the music. I know a lot of people cannot write with music, but that's what I'm listening to right now. It's kind of a smattering of things, like quite a bit of Harry Styles, some like heavier songs too. What else is in here? It's a lot of Harry Styles, actually. It's lots of breakup songs, which makes sense. If you've read Guardians of the Sixth Gate, um, there's a lot of slow burn in the series, especially the first two books. So it kind of makes sense that you get these like real dramatic breakup song in the playlist. Currently, I have an episode of Critical Role in the background, of course. And I'm rewatching some of Vox Machina D&D campaign. I really like Vox Machina. That's another one that's good. Usually it's music though. Jessica, I don't like to listen to music when I write or edit. I can't concentrate, but I watch writing vlogs or sprints a lot. I've gotten to where I do that a lot more too. That way I have something to break up my time, because if I focus too long, I start to kind of feel that burnout come on. I'm a lot more I can do this for the long haul, so more days out of the week if I break it up with like like these live streams or a sprint, versus if I just sit down to work one night and give myself hours at a time. So, let's go ahead and get into our second sprint. We'll do another 20 minutes. Having writing vlogs on is so inspiring. I agree. It's super motivating. And I love to see everyone else's success. And I found that authors are some of the most like helpful people. They like to talk about it and they like to talk about the highs and lows, because that's just the world of writing. I think it's such an emotional thing to do that it's just talking about writing, that you're already being vulnerable. It's a little easier, I think, to talk about the nitty-gritty of it with people and to really get into the details. So I agree. Connecting with anybody in the writing realm is super helpful. I am someone who needs noise at all times. Me too. I can write to literally anything at this point, but music is my favorite. I'm the same way. I actually have ADD, and so my brain, if I can't controlled multitask, so things like these streams, if I can't control multitask using a timer, or I fidget a lot, which is what this is, it's a pin cap. If I can't be doing something physical and mental at the same time, then everything just implodes. So I agree. Music or TV, there's always something on in my house. People come over and it sounds like a madhouse, and it's just coordinated chaos. just the way that I work best, and that's fine. All right, so we're gonna do our second sprint. I forget I added this reminder. Don't forget to hit the like button on the stream, and subscribe if you don't subscribe. I would love to see your comments more often and share with you guys. I post as much as I can. I always have a weekly vlog. I try to get like another fun video in there on Wednesdays. My schedule has been like not happening though recently. So that has been on the back burner. So for now, I'm just doing what I can until I can better plan out those videos. I'm just a little stretched thin to get them all in the works at once, but they're coming. My therapist suspects I might have something attention based too, but who knows? Um, who knows? ADD, all of those kinds of like spectrum things, um, are being diagnosed a lot more than they used to be, and we're finding that there are a lot of people. There's a lot more neurodivergent people than we originally thought. So, your therapist might know. Therapists are usually pretty good at finding those things, or can help find those things. I mean, they help you figure out how your brain works the best. They're usually pretty good at that. All right, I am going to pull up our timer here, and we're going to do 20 minutes on our second sprint. So hopefully we will all get a ton done. Go. All right. So we have, where is she? So we have somebody new to our stream. Hi, Christina. Welcome to the stream. So glad to have you along. I got quite a bit written in this one. I didn't have to split it with the TikTok video. So that saved me a little bit of time since I didn't have to go and insert videos and do editing as I did this. So let's see, I got, so when at the end of the first stream, I was almost a page in to the scene. Now I am 2.5. So I got quite a bit in. Um, you might have noticed, I don't know if you did or not, I had to take a little pause for June. I wish you could see her. Even if I turned my camera where she is, you couldn't see her because she's buried herself in the sheets and it is the cutest thing in the world. But she did make an appearance. Some of you may have noticed or not. June is my dog. She is a Havanese, if you didn't know. A lot of people don't even know what that is. They're a lot like Shih Tzus. They look very similar. Their nose is a little longer though, and they are from Cuba. So they're really fluffy, but they don't have an undercoat. So, which I think is the cutest thing because when I give June a bath, she turns pink because her fluff all goes away and you can just see the skin underneath. So, that's my dog. And she's adorable. So, I had to stop for her. Jessica said, did okay that sprint, about 4 pages edited. That's a pretty good amount. That's really good if you got 4 done. Jen says 800 words down. Wow, let me see. That's like double from the first sprint. I think you said you had, I don't know. Now I'm just scrolling through crazy amount of comments, but that seems like a lot more than the last time around. I saw June. She's the sweetest little girl. She's the goodest girl. She's the best. I love my dog. She's definitely my bestie. And she's definitely my dog. She's much more attached to me than everyone else in the house. She's very attached to them. June is, and it's just a part of her breed too. She's very attentive. She can always tell when somebody is sick. So I know when somebody is sick in my house because suddenly she disappears. She's not my little shadow, and she spends a lot of time with whoever is not feeling well. So, and she does the same for emotions. If somebody's really stressed out, she tries to demand their attention. She'd make a great little therapy dog. I'm a school counselor. I'm kind of toying with the idea of eventually getting my LPC license and becoming a therapist. And she would 100% be working in my office. She's the best. It's a bit more. I've hit over 25. Holy moly, Jen. That's great. You're doing awesome. It's I really like drafting in these live streams, but I've been doing so much editing in live streams that going back and looking at my progress between each of these sprints, I've had to remind myself that you're having to write the whole story. You're not just tweaking it. Like when you edit it, it's so much more satisfying to know that you've gone through like a whole chapter between sprints versus like a page or two when you're drafting. So I'm having to remind myself a little bit of that tonight. But it's going well on my end too. Christina, I have a Paxer for a dog. It's a mixture between a boxer and a pug. Oh my gosh. My aunt and uncle have always had boxers, so I can only imagine how cute that is. Oh my gosh. Boxers are crazy. They got a lot of energy. All right. It is 9:34. We're doing well on time. We're getting close to our final sprint though. I would love to go for a 4th, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Also, I don't think I'm going to get this whole scene done. I know the direction it's going, so I think it's going to have to be a tonight and a Monday night kind of thing. We'll see. But we'll get it done. It'll get done before Wednesday, I'm sure. What else? is on my usual list. We talked about everything we're working on. Ooh, so I've been talking about TikTok a lot, but I haven't posted it there. There's my TikTok handle, Miss Amy Prokopis. If you didn't know, it is different everywhere else, like Instagram. I'm Amy Prokopis, but I lost the access to the original account. So now I'm Miss Amy Prokopis on TikTok. And I've been talking a lot about TikTok because I'm doing a challenge trying to grow that following over there, and I'm filming the process. So I'll have a whole video the beginning of February where I talked about what worked for me. And it's been interesting because it's influenced all of my other social medias, including this YouTube channel. So I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of that video. There's only one more week and then we're done with that challenge. But if you don't follow me, go follow me there because I'm super active right now since I'm doing this challenge. But I'm more active on TikTok than any of my other platforms. I just think it's super fun. The book talk community is so welcoming. Um, and I love to see all the writers' progress on there too. That's super fun. So there's my TikTok. Oof, yeah, my handles are slightly different everywhere. I tried to keep them the same because it's so easy to just say I'm Amy Prokopis everywhere. But yeah, I probably could have gotten access to the other one again, but at that point, I it was just easier to start a new one than go through the whole rigmarole. I could keep it's close enough. So I just went ahead and started a new one. No biggie. So I think we should jump into our third sprint of the night. We'll do another 20 minutes to get us to the finish line, and then we will wrap up for the night. I am definitely getting a little bit tired. Oh my gosh. I was out of town for the weekend, took a little bit of a mini writing retreat while I was there. I included that in the vlog. So if you want to see what that writing retreat looked like, it's on YouTube. It's in my most recent vlog, the one I posted today. Go watch it. It was super fun. I'm going to try to do another writing retreat. My sister doesn't live super far away, and I think I could go visit her and we could go get some work done together and I could get some time to write. So maybe another mini writing retreat, like a weekender. So I definitely want to do more of that in the future. It was super fun. And that's actually how I got a lot of the last of my plot stuff done. I sat down in a little cafe and I looked at all of my little plot tabs on my draft and and that's when I decided that maybe I really only needed this one scene in this draft. So it was fun. Definitely would do again. 10 out of 10 recommend. So let's go ahead, do our third and final sprint. So I'll queue up 20 minutes. All right, let's go. I will see you in 20. All right. So I got a lot done. I have a total of 4 pages written, like pretty solid pages. I'm happy with what I've got so far. I wish so much that I had more time to dedicate to this tonight. I know that if I did, though, I would be dead in the morning. I do have to go into work at 7:45, so I have a toddler to get up and around, so I wish I could stay up to add some more to this because it's going in really fun places, but I think it's going to have to be a tomorrow project. But I'm glad with what I got done. How did everybody else do? Jen says, what a cool background soundtrack. Oh, are you talking? I think she's talking about the owls. So I said a minute ago, there's what I commented during the stream. I said, you guys probably couldn't hear, but the owls are outside and they're hooting up a storm in our backyard. So in case you haven't noticed, because it's somewhat subtle in my YouTube channel, I love owls. I think they're the coolest animal, aside from dogs. They're the coolest animal. They're so strange. I love the mythology behind them. That's probably the biggest thing about owls for me. There's so many mythologies, everything from like wisdom and like really good things to bad things like bad omens. I just think they're fascinating between cultures, and they're just a really cool predatory bird. So there's no other bird like them. They're so interesting. And I've always loved owls. So when we moved to this house where we are now, I was very excited to discover the first week we lived here that there was an owl that lived in a tree just outside of our house, not very far, a really big owl too. And I was even more excited when I found out that at night when it hoots, another owl hoots back. And I'm pretty sure they're mates, which is the cutest thing in the world because owls have different hoots. And I've seen them both, and I'm pretty sure they're the same species. They are very similar in size, same colors. They're both huge. And I think that they are mates, and they hoot back and forth at night and at dusk. And I love it. So maybe we'll have little owlets soon. They're the best. Jessica said she was heading out to bed. It is getting kind of late. Jen says total for the stream about 24. Ooh, yeah. Wow, you got a lot done. Nearly done part 2 of a second story. I plan on getting it wrapped before I sign off fully for the night. That's great. That's awesome. So Monday, tomorrow, I can stay up later to work on this if I need to. Tonight, I can't so much. It's kind of hard getting started in the week. And Mondays, especially this week, because we've just started the new semester, Mondays are going to be really difficult to begin with, but we're slammed. So I cannot stay up, sadly. That is cool. My mom would be totally, absolutely terrified because of our little dog Bella. Yeah, we don't have a fence. Our backyard's pretty like wooded, so getting animals is pretty normal at our house. And it's not like we live in the country. We're actually in the middle of our town. So it's a little weird, but it seems like we're in the country if you go out in our backyard. And I always take June out on a leash for a lot of reasons. One, because she's an adventurer and might run off, but also in case it's just more controlled, in case there's some animal or something she comes upon, or the owls. So I completely understand your mom's fear. June is also a small dog. We had a hawk and a huge owl around our house too. Yeah, I would be worried too. I do worry a little bit. I love having the owls in our backyard, and I want them to stay in our backyard, but I definitely have to watch my puppy dog. But I love owls. They're just so cool. They're so much fun. All right. Well, I think that is a pretty good place to end it for the night. I had a lot of fun with you guys. There were a lot of you tonight here. I'm so happy about that. I love communicating and just having like our own community. Oh my gosh. It's definitely late. We should definitely go to bed. It's just nice to write with others, have your own kind of workplace environment. That's nice because writing can feel very lonesome sometimes. I think I'm about halfway into this scene that I'm writing. It's going to end up being more of like a chapter. So it's going to add to my word count quite a bit. So this book is already kind of long and it's going to get longer. It's actually pretty close in size to Guardians of the Sixth Gate, but I think all said and done, it'll be quite a bit longer. So I'm mostly there. I should be able to get it done tomorrow, but I'm glad all of you were very successful, got a lot out of this, and we will do this again next week. I think that's the 29th. I'll put it up. That's my plan before I go to bed. I'll schedule the next one. So I will see you guys then. Thanks for coming along. Had a great time. Oh, there's one more comment. Jen. I find it so funny your dog's name is June. That's my mom's name. Oh. That's really funny because my dog's name is June and that's your mom's. And my son's name is Finn and that's your character's name. So that's really funny. Thanks for tonight, Amy. Good night. Good night, everybody. Have a good night. I hope you get everything done, Jen, that you had planned to. Bye.